Alright, that last one just ate this new color like I just showed you. That's a little bit weedy. That optic yellow egg beater on a 10. I went on the first cast. Got eaten pretty quick. But we're going to try it again. See if we can get an eat on it. Typical fisherman. I was down here to find a fish, but us fishermen, we always want that one more fish. We're always looking for that next one. We're never happy. Well, see what we can do. See if we can find one more. Man, that was a big head shakes. Whoop. Pay attention, pay attention, pay attention, pay attention. Boy, she's angry. Oh, long line release again. I gotta stop pulling so hard and chill out. Well, folks, it's time to do another fishing report. And after being on the water all day, trudging up and down the creeks, I'm at the access point sitting in the back of my truck. So if you hear some traffic in the background, that's what's going on. Instead of the creek noise in the background and a nice creek setting, it's all the gear in the truck and everything else, just because I don't feel like trudging down to the creek and using the creek as a background at the moment. Being lazy. But first off, I want to thank everybody that stopped and said hello, that's been watching reports and the videos. I do have a video, the same video I'm about ready to post here probably the next couple of weeks. Working on a brown trout video, by the way. But anyways, thanks for saying hello. Also, we are still taking some emails, so names for the spade casting clinic, which will be the last weekend of August. So if you think you possibly maybe be interested, send us an email. We'll put you on the email list. So that's what's, and then we'll fire up an email saying, hey, we're doing the course, and we'd like to have confirms probably June, July. So that's what's going on with that. So let's start out first with the Salmon River, because that's probably the biggest source of news. So as many of you know, we got low water issues on the Salmon River. Well, it's gotten worse. So about 24 hours ago of shooting this, by the time you see it, probably only a couple of days ago, the minimum flow has dropped to officially 185 summer minimum flow. Normally we should be 350 minimum flow right now, but we're 185 because there is literally no water in the reservoir. Summer minimum flows this time of year don't happen that often, but for people that are used to fishing the Salmon River, especially during the summer, it's no big deal. We're used to it. We know how to adjust. The biggest thing is don't take a drift boat out, folks. You're going to go on a hike with a 300-pound boat carrying it. Have fun. If you guys have done that, interesting. But anyways, I digress. So we're at summer minimum up there, 185 flow. So what does that do for the fishing? Well, it's going to make the fish that are there pretty skittish, pretty wigged out. Usually it takes these fish 24 to 48 hours to get used to a water flow drop. And so these fish have got to acclimate. Plus with the fishing pressure on there, it doesn't take long for these fish to just get pressured. I always say wigged out. They just kind of shut off. So what you're going to need to do when you're up there fishing in this water flows is basically concentrate on deep, fast pockets. Anywhere you got a little bit of deep water, you got a deep cut, with, you know, what you're looking for is depth with current over the top of it. Those fish will slide in there, use that current as a ceiling, get a little bit of depth and tuck in there and just kind of wait this low water cycle out. Hopefully this will be over in a few weeks. We'll get some rain, maybe some adverse weather, and things will start to slowly improve. But I got a feeling we're going to be dealing with some low water issues for the next probably 4 to 8 weeks, next month or two. Unfortunately, that's usually what it takes for the cycle to break, and we start getting some, for lack of better terms, some good winter rains. That's what we really need. Inches, not just little sprinkles. We need inches of rain to get the reservoir filled up, get everything up, get the ground soaked, and get everything back to normal, and get the steelhead moving. There is some steelhead sitting down in the estuary on the salmon, but other than that, it's just going to be a really hard pick. You're going to have to cover a lot of water, which is normal for this time of the year, because you got to cover a lot of water to find fish, and you got to fish a lot of these deep cuts, deep slots with a little bit of fast water over them. So you're looking for any type of water that's kind of got some depth, 3-4 feet with a decent current over the top of it. And for swinging, not going to be very much. There's a lot of good swinging water, but I think these fish in a lot of these places is going to take a while to calm down, and you're going to have to get the boat pressure off them for these fish to calm down. But I think probably in a week or so, if we use some of our drop back swinging techniques, scanning lines, poly leaders, small wet flies, keep them right around an inch and a half. So what we'll do is we'll tie like size 4 salmon hooks, traditional wet fly salmon hooks on 4s and 6s, and swing those. Traditional wet flies, traditional salmon steelhead flies, those will start to work. We do for on a little longer leaders, and that seems to help. Plus, if we get some rains, we get the leaves kind of matted down, we can swing a lot easier because the leaf hatch is winding down. So if you're fishing a DSR, I would recommend the same rule: cover water. Anywhere that's got a good current, a little bit of depth, you can swing, great. Otherwise, you're going to end up drifting egg flies down there. I know the bottom end of the DSR is probably some of your better water for that. Glide probably wouldn't work, but you're going to have to cover a lot of water. And that whole rule is going to persist all the way up the river into the fly zones. The fly zones has got some fish. There's fish scattered all over. I got a feeling when that water dropped, the fly zones picked up a few extra fish. But I would say that you could probably start seeing your fishing improve in low water techniques, low water conditions over the next couple of days. So by the time you see this, hopefully the fish will be acclimating and they'll start trickling a little bit through the system, and that would help. So a lot of it is knowing you're going to be dealing with low water, and you're just going to have to fish carefully. We're swinging with 8 and 10 pound tippets. We're fishing with poly leaders. We're running 5-6 foot leaders off our sink tips. With those poly leaders, we've pulled off the Skagits. We're running Scandies, so we get a little lighter presentation, and we're just covering a lot of water trying to find that hot fish that's on the move. So that's kind of what's going on up there. Flies, like I mentioned, egg flies. Start carrying a few small, like 10 to size 6 nymphs, buggy, stony stuff, because sometimes maybe with that water drop, those eggs might be not as available, and some of these fish in the upper river could start to key in on nymphs. That transition time usually doesn't happen yet. It's usually another month down the road, but with the slow water, that could speed that up. But down in the DSR, bottom end of the river, lower river, Lake 2A on down, Douglaston, I would stay with egg patterns and just work those cuts. Smaller natural colors, blacks, blues, purples, maybe a little bit of pink mixed in. Type wet flies, classics, freight trains, greenbutt black bear is a favorite of mine. All that type of skunks, greenbutt, skunk, those types of classics will work. And just cover water. So that's kind of what's going on the salmon. Water temperatures are typical this fall. Your mornings are going to be pretty cold, so especially in that lower water there, that slower, those temperature swings are going to be bigger. So if you have a freeze during the night, expect to see anywhere from 4 to 6 degree temperature swing drop. And because we got so little water in the reservoir, we've lost our heat sink in the upper river, so even the fly zones is going to see a pretty big temperature swing during the day. Because of that, there's no water reservoir to act as a heat sink. So expect to see 4 to 6 degree temperature swings. We could have a freeze, then like right now we got nice bright sunny skies. It's kind of warming up. You can see some wilder things. So expect to have your best fishing late morning through afternoon, into the afternoon. So that'll be your best fishing. So that's kind of what's going on to the salmon. So now what's going on in western New York on the brown trout waters? Fortunately, a lot of our creeks can get a little bit of canal supplementation. They are lower than what I like because we're still dry here and we don't. So some of them are still running a little lower. However, the fishing for the browns has been pretty decent. Still a big egg bite. We've had some temperature swings. So usually by mornings I'll be finding a lot of fish hold up in the pools, slots, cuts, and then by late morning, early afternoon, they're moving up onto the gravel. Sometimes late afternoon we'll see some fish movement coming out of the estuary. But that's been continuing going on. It's basically cover a lot of water, use your eyes, the water's very clear, be stealthy, be sneaky, and just be persistent, and you're gonna do okay. Still catching some really nice males. Sometimes around now I start to see some what I call the old fat girls start showing big, fat, chunky, mid-teener hens. They're due. That's usually traditionally when they start coming in. But the brown trout fishing has been ticking along. Great reports off the Oak. The surrounding creeks have been doing okay. The ones that got water are doing just fine. So the brown trout fishing has been ticking right along. We're doing just fine. Catching some nice fish, but it's still just an egg fly bite. However, the last couple of days I've seen a lot of spawned out hens that are starting to feed a little bit more aggressively. They're not quite on the creek chubs and the swing and fly yet, but they're definitely keying in on the eggs. So that egg bite is still really strong. So there's still a lot of grinding around going on in the gravel and keeping those eggs drifting and those browns keyed in on the eggs. Egg flies, nothing's changed there. Because of the water's got a little clear, I've dropped down to size 10. Egg beaters, kind of a nice optic yellow, has been working really well for me. Chartreuse and Oregon cheese roe bugs have all been producing. I just said I have had to drop down to size 10s, and I think a lot of it has to do with the drop in water and the clarity of the water. And I've also been running like 3X 8-pound tippets and still getting away with that. I haven't had to go much lower than that. That's kind of, in a nutshell, what's going on. Pray for rain. The entire system needs monsoons. We need inches. So that's about it. Like I said, I'm working on a couple fishing videos. It's kind of hard to shoot videos when everybody's out fishing and we're guiding. But I do have a couple. I got one that's just about finished, and I'm in the process of trying to shoot another one. So hit that little subscribe button down there. Hit that. There's a little bell icon. Click on that, and that'll give you notifications when I put up a fishing report and some new videos. Also, if you've stuck out with me this long, please do me a favor. Go down in the comments and say, hey, I'd like to see what flies you'd like to see me time. We're gonna be doing some fly time videos this winter, at least trying it again. They're not the most popular videos, so I'm gonna ask you what you'd like to see. And so maybe we can build up a following of the fly tie-in. So once again, tell me what kind of fly you'd like to see tied, and also if you want to see a fishing tip, tell me what you'd like to see, and I'll try to see if we can put a few tip videos up as we go into the winter. So thanks for watching, thanks for listening, thanks for putting up with my babbling, and see you on the Folks River. Good fishing to you. Pray for rain. We need it. See ya. This is Jay at JPEG Guides and Lost River Fishing. We are a year-round fly fishing catch and release guide service. We fish the Lake Ontario tributaries, and then during the spring and the summer we also fish the inland trout streams, classic dry fly fishing. During the heat of the summer we will do the warm water fishing for bass and pike. If you're interested in any of our outings or have any questions, please feel free to email us at fish@lostriversfishing.com. Hope to hear from you, and if you have any questions, feel free to contact us.